3 years ago, the Houston Rockets were one of the worst teams in basketball, and today, they're sitting near the top of the Western Conference. This video explains how Houston went from a 22-win disaster with no defense, no structure, and no direction, to a team sitting near the top of the Western Conference. It breaks down every stage of the rebuild and shows how the Rockets moved from the bottom of the league to one of the top seeds much faster than anyone expected. Stay until the end because this is not just about one trade or one season. It shows how fast everything can change when the right coach, the right veterans, and the right standards are put around young talent. 3 seasons ago, Houston won 22 games. That was not a young team learning how to win. That was a team with no control. On defense, they were near the bottom of the league. Rotations were late, communication was inconsistent, and effort came and went. On offense, there was no real structure. Positions turned into isolation after isolation. The ball stuck. Shots went up early in the clock, off balance, over 2 defenders. Young players had all the freedom in the world, but that freedom came without direction. Turnovers were brushed off. Bad shots were normal. Mistakes were repeated because nothing forced them to change. The organization said it was committed to development, but development without accountability just became empty reps. Players were encouraged to explore their game, but there was no consistent picture of what winning basketball should look like. Around the league, Houston became the example people used when they talked about how ugly a rebuild can get at the start. The Rockets weren't just bad. They were easy to ignore. Stage 2 started when Houston decided talent alone was not enough. The first real change was philosophical. The front office accepted that if they wanted this young core to become something, they needed structure and a voice to enforce it. That voice came from the sideline with Ime Udoka. Udoka brought a clear identity: defend, compete, and value every possession. He demanded communication, effort, and discipline. Mistakes were corrected, not excused. If you didn't play hard or stay locked in, you sat. That coaching presence set the tone for everything that followed. Then came the veterans who carried that message onto the floor. Fred VanVleet didn't arrive to save the franchise with highlight reel scoring. He arrived to run a real NBA offense. He slowed the game down, got players into the right spots, and read defenses. Instead of 5 guys improvising at once, there was a plan. Young players were no longer guessing where to stand or when to cut. They were guided. They were organized. Suddenly, every possession had a purpose. Then came Dillon Brooks. Brooks brought what Houston completely lacked in Stage 1: edge and accountability. He took the toughest defensive assignment almost every night. He guarded star wings, physical forwards, and explosive scorers, and he never backed down. He talked, he competed, he irritated opponents. Inside the locker room, he made it clear that if you were not giving full effort on defense, it was noticed. Defense wasn't optional anymore. Effort was not optional. Together, Udoka on the sideline, VanVleet at the point, and Brooks on the wing turned chaos into structure. They did not take the ball away from the young players. They gave them a framework to actually use their talent. The 2023 to 2024 season finished at 41-41. On paper, that's average. For Houston, it was a complete transformation. The defense improved across the board. Rotations were sharper, closeouts were more disciplined. Help defenders were in the right place instead of reacting a second too late. On offense, the pace slowed just enough to make better decisions. Shot selection improved. Players trusted the pass instead of hunting every tough look. At the center of it all was Alperen Sengun. Sengun took a major jump. His scoring went up, but it was the way he scored that changed the team. He worked from the high post and the low block, using footwork, fakes, and vision to control possessions. Houston started to run the offense through Sengun. He read double teams, found cutters, and punished switches. He went from an intriguing young big to the hub of the system. By the end of the season, he looked like a future all-star. This stage also added Amen Thompson. Amen didn't enter as a polished shooter, but he brought elite athleticism, on-ball defense, and constant movement. His speed in transition changed the tempo. His point of attack defense added pressure Houston didn't have before. He cut, crashed the glass, and attacked open lanes. He wasn't asked to be the franchise scorer. He was asked to raise the team floor with energy and versatility. Stage 3 was about learning how to win the right way. Not every night, but often enough that a real identity started to form. The following season, all that groundwork started to pay off. Houston jumped from average to one of the best teams in the league. They won 52 games and finished as the second seed in a loaded Western Conference. This was not a slow climb from the bottom to the middle to the top. It was a leap. The defense traveled every night. They contested shots, finished possessions, and took pride in getting stops. The offense stayed organized, with Sengun as the hub and guards making more mature reads. Then came the real test, the playoffs. Houston drew the Golden State Warriors in the first round, a team that had ended so many Western Conference runs over the previous decade. 7 games. Sengun proved his game translated under playoff pressure. He scored inside, picked apart coverages with his passing, and never looked overwhelmed by the moment. Jalen Green had stretches where he took over offensively, reminding everyone how dynamic he could be. Dillon Brooks brought the exact playoff defense and physicality Houston had signed him for. In the end, Golden State experience showed in a tight Game 7. The Rockets lost the series, but the message was clear. This was no longer a young team on the way. This is the point where most rebuilds slow down. You make the playoffs, win 50-plus games, lose a tough series, and then run it back with the same core, hoping internal growth pushes you over the top. Houston could have done that. Instead, they looked at the Western Conference and saw opportunity. Aging stars, expensive and inflexible rosters, teams stuck between contending and retooling. At the same time, they looked at themselves and saw a group that had already moved faster than expected. So they asked a simple question. Do we wait, stay safe, and hope our young players eventually break through? Or do we push now, accept risk, and try to open a real title window sooner than anyone thought? Waiting was comfortable. Pushing was dangerous. Houston chose to push. That choice led to the boldest move of the rebuild. Houston traded Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks for Kevin Durant. This wasn't a small adjustment. It was a redefinition of who they wanted to be. Green represented the early rebuild, high draft pick, electric scorer, the face of the be bad, get talent phase. Brooks represented the culture shift, defense, toughness, standards. Trading both of them for a superstar in his 30s with an injury history is the kind of move you only make if you believe your timeline has moved up. They traded some of their future for a sharper present. People were split. Some argued Houston was giving up too soon on a young core that had already proven it could win. Others saw a front office following the real goal of a rebuild. Use your assets and momentum to go get a certified top-tier player. This is what a rebuild is supposed to lead to, the chance to go all in. Once Durant arrived, everything shifted again. Late-game offense changed the most. Houston finally had a closer that defenses truly feared in every matchup. When games got tight, they no longer needed a 22-year-old to figure it out on the fly. They could give the ball to one of the greatest scorers in league history and space the floor around him. Defenses locked onto Durant. That attention opened the floor for everyone else. Sengun saw more single coverage, with less help crowding the paint. His post work and passing became even more effective. He punished smaller defenders and picked apart double teams when they came late. Amen Thompson thrived as a cutter, transition weapon, and defensive stopper. He attacked the gaps created by Durant gravity, crashed the glass, and took top perimeter assignments. Jabari Smith Jr. stepped into the ideal role for a winning team. Stretch big, versatile defender, and release valve shooter when defense is overloaded on Durant and Sengun. Houston didn't rely on random hot shooting nights. They relied on structure, defined roles, and execution. Right now, Houston is one of the favorites to win the Western Conference. They defend at a high level. They execute late in games. They have playoff experience, a rising star in Sengun, elite role players, and a superstar closer in Durant. This isn't a team slowly building toward something in the distance. This is a team actively chasing it. Houston did not skip the hard part. They lived through the 22-win season, the bad habits, and the league-wide disrespect. Then structure arrived. Ime Udoka set standards. Van Vliet and Brooks enforced them. Young talent like Sengun, Amen, and Jabari grew inside that structure. Winning came sooner than it was supposed to. That early winning gave the organization the confidence to make an all-in move for Kevin Durant. The Rockets were supposed to be years away. They are not. They are already in the part of the story most teams never reach, the stage where the rebuild is over, the excuses are gone, and the only real question left is how far this group can actually go.